Hello and welcome to the Bookshelf Odyssey Podcast's BookTube channel. My name is Art. I'm the host of the show, and I decided to start a BookTube channel along with it. So I'm going to do the newbie BookTube tag to just introduce myself and what kind of books I like. I'm excited to be joining the BookTube community. I've watched videos for quite a long time now, and I love so many of you out there. I've seen a lot of videos and follow a few of you, and thanks to you, my TBR list is just unmanageably long. I'm probably going to have to live to be about 200 before I read it all, and that's assuming I don't add to it anymore. Well, let's get started on this on these newbie tag questions. First of all, why did you start this channel? Well, like I said, I've been a big fan of BookTube for a while and wanted to be a part of the community, but also I've started a book podcast. Again, the Bookshelf Odyssey Podcast, where each episode I explore a book from my shelves and I read stories. I talk to authors, people in the bookish community, anyone who's creative, or anyone who is involved in telling stories. I want to talk with them on my podcast. The podcast is available on all the major podcast platforms, and I'll have links in the show notes. But I wanted to do a book video series as well to kind of coincide with my podcast. So that's part of why I'm doing this channel. And then any chance I get to talk about books and show you the beautiful books that I love, I'm going to take those opportunities. So I can't wait to bring those to you and engage in some great dialogue. Question 2, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? Well, I don't know. I've got a sense of humor. It'll slip through, and I hope it does. I love talking about my favorite books. I love bringing that joy and humor that is in life into those book discussions. Part of the unique thing I'm going to be bringing in is my podcast. I'm not sure how many. I know there's some that do both a video and a podcast in different content, so that might be something a little unique. But I love reading. I love books. You're not going to hear me be trashing on books if I don't like it. I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the books I really enjoy. So all my reviews might sound very positive, but that's because the ones I didn't like, I'm just going to leave alone. Question 3 asks, what are you most excited for about this new channel? I think engaging the BookTube community. Some of you folks who I've watched for a couple years now, to maybe actually get to interact with you and to have some dialogue or do some reading challenges with. I think that's going to be exciting, and just letting people know about new books I find. That's so exciting, and I love when you find someone who shares the same interests you do, and there's that immediate friendship, that immediate community that comes up around it. I keep using that word, but it's true. It is a wonderful community here, and I can't wait to share my favorite books with you. The next question, why do you love reading? I found this quote online that I really love. It says, storytelling is in our DNA. It's what differentiates humans from other species. We don't just communicate information, we tell stories. And that's such a powerful statement that speaks to me. I love reading stories. I love getting transported to a different world, becoming a different person through those stories, going on those adventures, figuring out the puzzle of a mystery, or standing in awe of our universe as we explore the galaxy through science fiction or even nonfiction. The adventures, the path of the hero, those things they just grip me. And I love that we can find ourselves in our favorite stories, that we learn more about who we are, and that we then are able to share those stories with people that we love, or people that the next generation, because as this quote says, storytelling is in our DNA. It's who we are. It's how even some way as you go into mythology and religion, it's how the gods, or how God communicates with us. He communicates with us through stories. And it's so powerful. It's one of the most powerful and magical things we can do. So I love to read those stories that transport me to a new place, a new life, even for just a short time. Next question is, what book or series got you into reading? That's an easy question. It's the Hardy Boys. I was very young. My grandmother bought me some Hardy Boy books from a yard sale. Thought I might like them. She was right. I read them and read them and read them and read them. And then I did what every librarian loves is, when you go into the library and say, I've read all the Hardy Boys books. What else is there to read? I want more, and was able to be introduced then to other books and so forth. At a young age, I was reading, and the Hardy Boys just caught my passion for reading. And then that developed. So I started off really enjoying mysteries, and I loved to figure out the puzzle, that quickly also led to science fiction, because I was a big Star Wars fan as a kid. Still am. You'll notice the TARDIS over here, Doctor Who fan. I love science fiction. I love mysteries. I love the classics. More on that in a minute, but these are just one led to another, and I could just trace my reading trail throughout my life. It was something about Frank and Joe Hardy that really captured my attention, though. These are kids while they were teenagers, and I was, a lot younger than they were, but it was written for, my age group. And I thought it'd be great to go with Frank and Joe Hardy on and solve mysteries together with them, and hang out in Bayport, and do what they would do, and just to have that freedom to go like they did. I thought that was amazing, and I wanted to do that, and that was really the first series that put me into the story, that drew me into the story. And those books, I look at them now, and some of them haven't aged well, and they were written for kids, but every once in a while, nostalgia is worth revisiting. So, but yeah, Frank and Joe Hardy, the Hardy Boys, definitely got me into reading. As a teenager, so it's like three stages. As a teenager, another book or series that changed my trajectory on reading is Ray Bradbury's books, especially The Martian Chronicles. I'll probably talk more about that book in another video. But that one had a profound impact on my reading and what I read and how I viewed life even. So more about that. But I love Bradbury's works, and it drew me into all the world of science fiction. And then as an adult, I began to read more classics, and then Charles Dickens, his works really drew me into reading even deeper. So those are like three major books or series that got me into reading, and then reading wider, and then reading deeper. The next question asks, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? Well, this is really unoriginal, I suppose, but I'd ask them, what's your favorite book and who's your favorite author, and see how they answer. Because I think that's one of the most fun questions you can ask someone is, hey, what's your favorite book? And so that's what I would do. And some of you have been watching long enough. I probably could answer that. I get familiar with your channel enough, and I know what you like. Just to let you know, my favorite is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. This is one of the most beautifully written books I've ever read, in my opinion. Yeah, I know some of you might not agree with that, and that's fine. And I love this copy it's in. It's a, is this the Barnes & Noble one, maybe? Yeah, Barnes & Noble signature edition. It has the, I don't know what you call that. I know you all are screaming at me right now. It's deckled edges. I'm a sucker for that. Tell you what, beautiful illustrations on the cover, beautiful cover, well made, feels good in my hands, good paper, but the story in it is just amazing. Some of the most beautiful lines Dickens ever wrote are in this book, and it never can I read it and it does not fail to move me, sometimes to tears, to be honest. It's very good. It's my favorite, all-time favorite book. Probably right up there with A Christmas Carol, but that's for a whole other channel. This Tale of Two Cities is my favorite. That's the one I would start with if you asked me that question. What's my favorite book? And we'd spin off from that. But I would want to know, what's your favorite book? What's your favorite story? And see how you answer. What challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? Well, that's a good question. I'm doing a podcast, like I said. I have another podcast I do, which is a Christmas podcast. I host the Cozy Christmas Podcast. That's a year-round podcast as well. So I'm a little bit crazy, I think, to be starting all this, but I've really enjoyed the creativity of making a podcast, making these videos. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun. Where do you read? Everywhere, anywhere. I have audiobooks. I have a Kindle. I have regular books. I always have a book with me wherever I go. I started doing that as a kid, and I never actually stopped doing it. When I was younger, when I took a bath, I would actually have a book in the bathtub with me. Sorry, but it was a library book, and sometimes I'd accidentally drop it in the water or whatever, and it's very sad. I don't do that anymore, but yeah, I would just read, and I read all the time. I love all those forms of reading. Audiobooks, Kindle, hardback, doesn't matter. I'm going to have a book with me, or at least nearby. And now with the smartphones the way they are, I've got a Kindle on my phone and an audiobook app on my phone and a podcast app on my phone. I can just download these things. I can have them wherever I'm at and have a story to read. So it's fantastic. And as I mentioned, I like a lot. I have a wide range of books I enjoy. Classics are definitely ones I've been getting into more as I've gotten older. Dickens has been a favorite of mine for the longest time, but within the last couple of years, I've gotten to know Elizabeth Gaskell, Mary Elizabeth Braddon, Anne Bronte. She's my favorite of the three Bronte sisters, and I will fight to the death on that one. But the other two are quite good as well. Why can't we like all three? That's what I come back to. Who else? Oh, Anthony Trollope. I'm just looking down at my classic bookshelf down there. He's another one I've really enjoyed. Anthony Trollope, Thomas Hardy. I just keep finding these great authors that their books I love. But Dickens is probably my favorite. And then I like science fiction. Like Connie Willis is a great science fiction writer. Ray Bradbury is my favorite. Arthur C. Clarke is another good one I enjoy. His books are so different than what's being written today, because Clarke's books are about exploration, and discovery. Books like Rendezvous with Rama, or even 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's not so much plot, it's discovery, and that's so cool. It's really amazing. And then mysteries. I love mysteries. Louise Penny, I have some of her up here. A lot of mysteries up and down the shelf over here. I love cozy mysteries. I love thrillers, psychological thrillers. I love, the real scary, demented mysteries. I love, the detective mystery, all those things. It's probably the genre I read the most. And it's certainly the longest section on my TBR list. Are mysteries. So I like to read those three types mainly, but I'm open to try something new, and have been pleasantly surprised with some ones that I thought would be outside of my preferred genre. So read outside of your comfort zone. You never know when you might find a treasure. What does your book collection look like? And again, it's all behind me here. So my wife is one of those chaotic, evil people that organizes her shelves by color, and I just can't do that. So I've got mine organized better. I've got it in sections. Over here is the one bookshelf that has my classics on it, and I've got some more classics over there as well. And then I've got the two bookshelves behind me. This is fiction, this is nonfiction. We have some more scattered all over the house and in my office as well. I've got books piling up in there. Mysteries up here, big Louise Penny section. I have a big section of Alexander McCall Smith's books. His 44 Scotland Street series is probably one of my favorite series of all time. And then up here I have all of my Ray Bradbury books. You can't see them, but it covers a whole shelf. Again, one of my all-time favorite writers. I've got Dickens books behind me. Nonfiction is here and goes almost two whole shelves of just different nonfiction books on Dickens, and then some other nonfiction books down here. I've got like history, biographies. I like nature books where, you know, somebody's hiking like the Appalachian Trail or the Pacific Coast Trail, and they journal about their hiking adventures. I love hiking, so one day I'd love to do something like that, go on one of those trails. So that's kind of what my book collection looks like. I've got some new ones, I have older ones, I have multiple copies of some of my favorites. It's kind of my bookshelf collection, and I'll show you more of those in videos to come. I'll look at some more of those. But that's the newbie BookTube tag. So let me know down below what your favorite books are, and I'll see if I've read them. Give me some suggestions. I'd kind of get a sense of what I like. So see if there's something you can stretch me out of my comfort zone, and I'd love to connect with you. So make sure you like and subscribe the video, and be on the lookout. I'll try to post at least once a week or so. Take care and just keep reading.